Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Timothy Adon, composer by day, gamer by night, and I am here to give you an update on Sonar Platinum. The last video I did, I made a first look of Sonar Platinum, so this is going to be a little bit more in depth since I've managed to spend over a month working with it. More specifically, I have had a couple different sound effect projects. Unfortunately, no composition projects, but I have done a little bit so that I could at least talk about it for this video. I'll go over a couple of the features, a few of the important features, a couple of things that I really don't like, that I'm really kind of upset about. Don't tell them. Or do tell them, actually. So, first things first, I'm going to try and do this in such a way, to go over everything that you would use the DAW for. So first thing would be recording, then would be the first major feature, which is Melodyne, followed by composition, what composition is like. And then I'll talk about effects and the various buttons and whatnot. First things first, recording, it is what it is. It didn't change at all from Sonar X2, which didn't change from Sonar X1. And as far as I know, probably not all that much different from any other DAW. I mean, you have your arm, you have your echo. That sounds cool. Sorry. And as usual, you also have your punch in, punch out. Very easy punch in, punch out buttons. This was also in Sonar X2, but it's funny how much I didn't know about Sonar X2 until I started looking into things for these videos. So let's just turn that off. So if you wanted to punch in, punch out really easily, let's listen to this. Bear in mind, I don't sing. Ba-da, da-da-da, ba-da, da-da-da. Oh man, there was a mistake. Oh god, that's the worst. Oh, let's just figure this out right here and right there. So now just by hitting this button, it encapsulates the area that I have selected. You could also do the same thing with a clip. Say I turn that into its own separate clip. Boop. There we go. And now it'll just have just that area selected. But since I want to record a little bit more than that, you can also manually drag these back and forth. And then, okay. And see, it recorded just in that section, and it automatically muted the previous version. Nice and simple. And you click that to turn it off. So that's really all there is about recording. Nothing really cool, nothing super awesome. Just normal, everyday, punch in, punch out, and recording. Although you do have really nice, fade in, fade outs right there. But I'll talk about that later. One of the features I'm a bit more excited to test out. Sorry, my phone. One of the features I've been more excited to test out has been Melodyne. Now, obviously, as I said, I haven't gotten to get any actual musical work done. Everything has been sound effects. But Melodyne will have good uses for sound effects as well once I can have time to try it out. However, I did record this short little segment so that I can show you how Melodyne works. So this is the original, or rather, this is the track completely unmodified with Melodyne. The falling leaves drift by the window, the autumn leaves of red and gold. So that's the original. Now we're going to go look over here. So now you have this. It's mostly MIDI data. It's actually, I don't know why it's not looking like MIDI data right now. But each of these is something that you can select. Come on. And it'll turn it into a kind of a synth instrument, essentially, using your voice as samples, trying to keep it as perfect as it possibly can. So, listening. The falling leaves. I can take these notes and I can pitch correct them in the like as if they were MIDI notes. Now, as a region effect, there are multiple region effects. I could also use V-vocal to achieve kind of a similar result. Melodyne, so I've tried V-vocal. It came with Sonar X1 and Sonar X2, and honestly, I really didn't like it all that much. I tried using it, and it was a pain in the butt. This is significantly more intuitive, if a little bit, like, obviously, if you're a non-singer like me, then Melodyne has a little bit more of an issue fixing your voice. You know, it's not magic. It's not going to make you sound amazing. But if you are a singer by trade and you're just a little tiny bit off sometimes, then it's easy to just go, oh, well, I can just change it right there. The falling leaves. Okay, let's just let's adjust this. The falling leaves. The falling leaves. And obviously, I was closer, like, originally without adjusting any of these, but I want to show this off a bit. Oh. So correct the pitch down to there. What does this do? Okay, that just moves that, which doesn't matter. And then I can move this up, and it'll be centered right there. The falling leaves. And you can hear a little bit of an artifact, but with instruments in the background, and if I was actually a singer, then it would be very barely noticeable, and all I did was shift it, like, ever so slightly upwards from what it was before, and it took almost no effort to do so. Software. Anyways, so that is like everything having to do with singing in Melodyne, like general pitch correction and the like. But you can also use this to hopefully get some really interesting effects, and I'm actually going to try that right now. So actually, let's do this with this note because it's the closest long one. The falling leaves. Okay. And you'll generally see this in a lot of music. Like, in order to get some really funky singing effects, they'll over pitch correct the singing notes in order to get really interesting effects. And you can do that for sound effects too, going super high or super low. The falling leaves. Drift. Okay. The falling leaves. Ooh, okay. Yeah, see, you can get some really interesting effects by over pitch correcting, whether it's for music or trying to get a poopy robot sound. This has uses for things other than just pitch correction. So that's Melodyne. There's not really much to it. It's just a very powerful pitch correction engine that, you know, in my case and a number of other people's cases, is also really useful for sound design. So the next thing I'm going to end up talking about is going to be compositions. Turn on the Snap 2, because that'll be important for this part. So here's a little thing that I just kind of put together because it's easy. So that's the start of a pattern. Ordinarily, what I did before was if I wanted this to continue, I would copy, paste, 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 paste. And honestly, I probably still will do that for the most part. However, something else that you can do now is you have the pattern tool, which is it's kind of hard to use. I can't use it out here. It has to be done in the piano roll view, which is fine. And then you just click and drag. And you can kind of manipulate like where you want it to stop, and it essentially like is a form of copy and paste. But it instead of copying a section based on what you copied on the keyboard, it individually copies each note and then individually pastes each note, which is it's cool because you can have a little bit more control over it. It keeps it all in one clip and now that means it's nice and tidy, and I don't have to worry about multiple clips all containing the same pattern. Although in the end, if that was a problem, I could always just bounce to a clip and keep it all in one clip that way. But you can also then modify individual notes as needed. Now, the issue that I have with the pattern tool is that in certain cases it can be clunky. And let's undo all of this. As I was testing this out earlier, right before I was recording this, actually, let's just like have that there, and then just put in a few notes. So now, if I select this and then go to the pattern tool, it'll obviously copy the whole thing, right? But as I was working on this before, I had a pattern and I decided that I didn't want it, so I just slid this down over to here. Now, let's go over here. We're going to select just this, go to the pattern tool again. So, despite having removed that section, it's still, the pattern tool is still taking from that pattern. So it was, I mean, it's obviously not a problem once you know that that is an issue. It's just, I didn't expect that to be a problem initially, and it was really annoying trying to figure out what was going on. So you have to go here, and you have to apply trimming, which basically deletes everything that's not currently in the clip. And then it's fine. So a very useful tool. In the case of really long patterns, it's probably more worth to copy and paste unless you are planning on, I don't know, that statement doesn't affect all versions of the problem. So in this case, like, that's totally cool, and probably better in the case of a short pattern, because now I can just, except in that case. Okay, so there's another problem, is that if you stop the pattern partway through, oh gosh, I have to go back to the Smart tool so I can delete these, go back to the pattern tool, oh god, and then I gotta select this thing. Oh, okay, so yeah, you see the problems I'm running into, because now I need to apply trimming again. Otherwise I'd have that space. Go back to the pattern tool. Oh, and there's still a big space in the middle there. See, I've been working with this for a little while, trying to figure out how it ticks, but it just isn't coming to me at all. So, oh, you know what? I think I know what happened there. So I'm going to test it right now. Nope, still don't understand. All right. Apply trimming. Oops. Have to have it selected. At least it automatically creates it into one clip if you start it at the end of a clip, which is very nice. So now same thing. Let's just do this. Yeah. So it does have its uses once you get used to the problems that it has. Like, it's not initially intuitive. You get so used to using the Smart tool in every other version of Sonar, and you get used to copying and pasting and knowing exactly how that functions when it comes to patterns, that having the pattern tool, I imagine once you're used to it, is going to be very cool in probably 60% of the cases you'd think you should use it. In the last 40%, copying pasting is still going to be better in some cases, depending on how you are writing your music and the kinds of patterns inherent there within. But initially, just figuring it out, and I'm literally just figuring this out, it's really unintuitive. But once you do have it, I feel like this is going to end up... Where did... See, now I'm confused again. And there's my birdie in the back. There we go. Just had to apply trimming again. But see, it's unintuitive. It feels like it should be a lot easier to use right off the bat. But then again, this is a complex piece of software for what it is. But that's oh god, okay. So that's the pattern tool. Composition, basically the same. You can use a keyboard, you can not use a keyboard. A feature that I actually still need to find out, and I'll probably do some editing magic to figure it out before I end this video. But one of the problems that I do have with this is notice how perfect and square these notes are. Oh, it looks so nice. It's so nice. Let's just put in eighth note and another eighth note, and where the heck did my other note go? See? You see the problem I have here? Okay, well, my computer crashed. Something having to do with my audio interface driver and Windows 10 not cooperating. That's fine. I've got something else I can probably use, but I'm going to hope it doesn't crash for the rest of this video. Anyway, so I was just about done talking about the MIDI thing. Oh, right. I wanted to continue showing you that. MIDI track, blah, view, piano roll. So yeah, these notes aren't differentiated when zoomed this far out. If you zoom in, though, it is. You can tell that they're different. But I like working here because it means I can see a whole lot more. I can see more up-down. I can see more left-right. And it's just better. But the only way that I know that there are multiple notes here are from the two different velocity meters. And that's really obnoxious. That's so bad. When I first discovered that, I was looking at an existing music project to see what was different after I had installed this. And I was playing the music and watching the piano roll go through, and I saw this one really long note, and then heard tons and tons of 16th notes. It was like, what is this? Why is this? So, I mean, obviously I could just zoom in, but like a black line, a simple black line would have been super helpful. Okay. So, that's my complaint about that. That's really, honestly, probably the only thing about that I have to complain about. So, other differences between Sonar X2 and Sonar Platinum. A lot of these things that used to have screen space, actually that's mostly this. This had screen space, and that was about it. Now it's been condensed to this one thing because it really doesn't matter, and there are hotkeys like boop. Oh, hey, there we go. Yeah, hotkeys to kind of change the screen layout, and so that's not really a big thing. I mean, I accidentally hit those, which is why I even know. And then you have your ability to search for control surfaces here, and your ability to set and find markers, which this wasn't there before, so that's pretty handy. I don't usually use markers, except as a way to give me a reminder of what I probably should be doing the next time I get back to work. Events I also don't usually use. And then this is to sync to video, which occasionally I do work with video, but this hasn't been here before, so that's really nice. And then another place where you can go and do the file and edit menu stuff. The other thing that's new that I described in the other video is the mix recall settings. In the entire month that I've been working with this, I haven't had to use it. I imagine that this is significantly more useful in a songwriting and recording sense as opposed to a sound design and composition sense. So I haven't really had much need to use this. Other things is that there's a lot more buttons here. Before it was just these, and then I think the clear all automations and like one or two more buttons. But now there's bypass and enable all audio effects. So if you have audio effects in here, then it'll bypass all of them. So that's kind of cool to like get back to hearing what the natural sound feels like, all in one button without having to worry about it. And then there are a few other things in here that I don't really use. There's a plug-in delay compensation, unsampling of processed effects, more things having to do with solos. All of those things, different people will use them. I don't, so I don't really have much use. One of the big things that I absolutely love is this right here, being able to insert effects just right here without having to go here or go over here to the console view. It's all right here in the track view. Really easy to find and really easy to access. One of the things that I do have a slight issue with, that I will show you right now, although I have an issue with it from a usage sense, but from a processing sense, it makes a lot of sense on their part. And I will show you insert soft synth direct, we'll say sine. So I've got sine 2, hush up bird. So I've got sine 2 here in its own little window, and I can, fiddle with this however I want, push all the buttons. But say I wanted to then like insert an effect. I could even insert an effect on sine 2. Jesus Christ, bird. She's hearing me talk and noticing I'm not talking to her. Now she's begging for my attention. I'll give you attention in a second. So let's say that I wanted to insert an effect here. Boop. It gets rid of the window and opens this up right here. It only allows one open effect or instrument window at a time. Before, you could have as many of these open as you want, and at first this was annoying, and then realized that Platinum seems to have a little bit more of a, well, it takes up a little bit more energy to actually have running, and especially, I noticed that when I have Sonar Iris 2 opened up, the screen here tends to get really super chunky. It's really hard to move around, and pressing buttons, there's a huge lag on everything except for Iris 2. And so I can only imagine that if I had other windows open on top of that, it would have been really laggy. So having more than one window, probably not the greatest thing for any computer, but like maybe a super duper gaming computer. But that does mean that before I would compare and contrast different effects on different instruments, so that I could maybe copy them over if I wanted to, or at least have a nice baseline, because I don't use presets. I don't know. Don't yell at me. I'm a dummy. I don't use presets, or at least I don't make my own. I'll use the built-in presets, but I don't make my own. I don't know why. It's just something that I don't do. But that does, like, if I inserted another, it just closes the original window and opens up a new one. And I can swap between those things, like so. So that's kind of that's a little bit of a problem, but it's not. It makes sense from a standpoint of you don't want your software to crash because you decided to have too many windows open. it just means that in the case of instruments, I'll have to work one instrument at a time, which isn't too much of an issue. And in the case of effects, it just means that I'll have to either put together presets like I should be doing, like a good boy, like a good and professional boy, or create buses to route all of my instruments through, which I should also be doing more often. But I liked the fine tuning and the fine manipulation that I had before. So that is that. You've also something else that I found out. You've got your method of coloring your tracks right here. And you just have to select the clip in order to do that. Which is in Sonar X2, I realize. It's just, I never found it because I never, I don't know, I never looked at this window. It always just bugged me. Because I'd click on this would pop up, and I'd just click on that to get rid of it, because I was always looking for something over here instead. And it wasn't until I was specifically looking at new things for Sonar Platinum that I found it. Go figure, right? So that is all I have to talk about for Sonar Platinum. The next DAW that I'm going to do, once I finish my current piece of sound effects work that I have saved on Sonar Platinum, once I finish that up, I'm going to probably work on Reaper after I make up some space on my computer, because the hard drive is almost full. So once I free up some space and I get that current sound effect done, I'm gonna start doing work on Reaper. I'll give you another first look not long after I install it, and I will then work on it for probably around a month, a little over a month, because I can't keep schedules like that. I can't keep my video schedules. Let me correct myself there. So I'll work on it for a little over a month, and then I'll give you another video talking about it. Give you a full review. And that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found the information useful, and I hope you learned something about Sonar Platinum and perhaps even Sonar X2. And until next time, I will talk to you later. Oh, if you have any questions, if you want me to try something specific with Sonar Platinum, like you didn't get the information you wanted, but you still want to know about something specific, let me know. I will work on it, and I'll put up a video for you, or just answer it if it's a really simple question. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more in the future, hit subscribe, or not, whatever. It's up to you. You do your thing. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye!